Hello, everyone. Welcome, and it's my pleasure to let you meet my favorite people over here, Celia and Oz to Soleil. People who doesn't know don't need any kind of an introduction. Oz, he's very famous for his Excel on Fire, and Celia is really famous in Canada for her Excel meetup show, Toronto meetups over there. So today we are here to talk about something really serious about
Well,
Excel.
who are you? Invite you and introduce yourself.
I'm Faraz Sheikh and I run a YouTube channel and I have my website excelexciting.com and where you see all of us, we creators over there to help you on Excel. So today
Yep.
we are here to clear out, some doubts where many of us come up and they ask me. There are many of my friends they come up and they ask me about Excel. That for us, why Excel failed to analyze the COVID cases, the COVID data loss, what had happened. So today I invited these experts, Celia and Oz, who are Microsoft MVP, MCD as well, and they are going to make our doubt clear on that one. So, Celia, what are your thoughts about this data loss? What had happened? Where you can see there are a lot of buzz coming up saying that you should not analyze coronavirus cases. And is it true that we should not do that with Excel? Or what are your thoughts on that, Celia?
Well, I read a few, some of the articles that came out on the news. It was not totally clear what really happened. The information was not exactly the same in all the news, but apparently the problem was connected to, at some point in the process of analyzing, not analyzing, even before the analysis of transferring the data, they used one old Excel file format, XLS,
Yeah.
that has not been used, I believe, since version 2007. You
2007.
may correct me if I'm wrong. So currently we use XLSX that can hold more than 1 million of rows, and that old format only held just a little bit over 65,000 rows. So apparently the problem was that that type of file was used, from what I understood. I don't know if you have any other details, but Excel has no fault for someone during the data analysis process or the data processing process having chosen for some reason to use that file format. So titles saying that this is Excel's fault, I think they are only meant to bring people to read the news, but they are a false statement in my perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you have seen that last week, I just prepared a video where Excel has a capacity of holding 41 million records. Where if I just assume that entire coronavirus cases are recorded in Excel, managed in Excel, you can still do that analysis. Also, what are your views on this one? What do you think that who's responsible for that, or who is the one comes up with the data? He should be having that knowledge, or like if I'm a just simple plain user, I made a mistake. Okay, it happened. So how it can be
Well,
corrected, or what are
well,
steps to be taken?
let's peel this apart, right? There's what happened, and then there's a scenario that you would paint, and I don't want to talk about the invent a scenario, right? Because we don't know what happened.
Hmm.
And so I agree 100% with Celia that a lot of this is clickbait. This is about come read this news article and so I can generate ad revenue. It's easy to beat up on Excel. It's popular. It keeps happening. And I am learning to resist taking the bait. One reason, we don't know what the hell happened. And I wish more people would respond that way because even Excel people are talking about, oh, they should have used XLSX, and the database people show up, and then the software people show up, and they write their blog articles. And now they're glomming on to the sensationalism and sucking off of that. Where over the years of working with clients and students, I might get an email saying, hey, this is what's going on. And then I got my solution, la, 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 la. And then I go and then I find out, oh, you got some stuff going on here that I never imagined, or that I misread in the email or something. So I like to go in with more questions than answers. And that's what's been irritating, not so much about the initial article or about the goof that happened with the software, but the response of, I've got the answer. I know what they should have done. No, you don't.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, like I dealt with a law firm, and I wondered, why are y'all still on the XLS format when XLSX has been out for a while? Oh, their company is reliant on a software that was made by a company that does not exist anymore. And they are looking for a way to get off of it. They hate it. But as for right now, this is what they've got. So me talking about Power Query and all kind of old fancy stuff, it don't mean a damn thing for them until they can figure out what to do to get rid of that software from the defunct company.
You're absolutely right. I was like, even I've come across many of the students still, they're using Office 2007. Okay, Office 2000 supports XLSX format, but still using Office 2007 in 2020, at the era of 2020, where we have gone so much far on the development with Excel. And do we think that the awareness is the main issue, or the
Well,
organization, or who
well,
where, where is the
can
lack
I,
coming up over in that?
well, I want to say something else too, because I really appreciated a conversation that Celia led a couple days ago, where Daniel Filstra was on there, and he brought up the issue of how folks keep talking about all the mistakes in Excel spreadsheets. And he says, you know what, there is some level where humans fail, period. Whether they're writing code or working a database, or they're ironing a shirt, or falling asleep and running off the road and into a ditch, people make mistakes. But with databases, it's like a company goofed. It's not the database or the IT team, but when it's Excel, it's Excel. No, not falling for that anymore,
Yeah.
because people they will burn your dinner, and you say, God damn it, I got to cook dinner all over again. So I'm a human being.
Yeah, certainly the situation is not clear, and doesn't have to be. I mean,
Right.
people involved are the ones who have to deal with it and find a solution.
Find a solution.
The only problem is the way that things are brought out to the public, and having people thinking bad things about Excel, thinking, well, if someone only reads the title, they will think, oh,
yeah,
Excel, yes. I knew that Excel was causing problems because I find that it's difficult to work with. I better just leave Excel forever. I'm not going to use it anymore.
Right. And that's Excel, and that's internet culture. That, is like the headline, and forget the article, go straight to the comment section with, I know what they should have done. And well, okay, your comment realized you didn't read the article, did you? You got sucked in by the clickbait headline.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that have been mentioned in different articles and debates that I've heard. It seems that one of the possibilities is that error or the mistake might have been created right off the first system that was being used. So Excel
Yeah.
was not the first system. The data was coming out from another system. And the exporting format used by that system might have been the file XLS. And they had not dealt with other situations before where they had to export so much data from that system until now. So they never ran into this problem. That's one of the possibilities from what I've
Yeah.
heard. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I
Yeah.
can't really say
Yes.
if this was the problem or not.
All,
But even on a situation like this, so we have, it's not even Excel. When the data is being exported, it's coming out at the maximum capacity of an XLS format. So people, when someone finally gets the data to work in Excel, the error has been made already, if that was the situation. Even if the situation was the file coming with data on a CSV format, that is another popular file format to export data out of systems. But if the person, for example, I've been working with a company where I just recently realized that their system has, by default, all the users receive Excel with a default that makes Excel save the files as XLS. So when you have Excel 2016, for example, installed on your computer, you open an Excel file, you work normally on it, but then when you click save, Excel by default is saving it as an XLS file because that's the default that for some reason the IT put in there, maybe for compatibility with other systems, maybe because the company has people working in all kinds of versions in Excel and they need compatibility to allow compatibility when people exchange files between them. So there's a lot of situations that can happen. And if the user is aware of what's going on, they may say, oh, this is not right. I don't want the file in this format. They may know how to go on the settings and change that default setting. But if they don't, they just click OK on whatever pop-up shows up and they go on with their lives. And so
Yeah. And I've seen situations where you got your IT and your database and everything, and then the stuff comes out and it goes to somebody who's disempowered and untrained because IT can't help them, so they've got some old instructions that they're following. And so now you got a process issue and not a tool issue. So we got to think people, processes, tools. You got a jacked up process and a person who's untrained. Tools can't save that no matter what.
and probably sorry, do you want
yeah,
to go ahead, Faraz?
please, no problem.
I was going to say, and probably a situation that I can perfectly imagine with this COVID crisis, where all of a sudden that organization had to start dealing with this huge amount of data. All of a sudden they were not
Yes.
prepared. The cable
Right.
comes flowing from all over the place and
Right.
needs to be processed on that day or on that
Right.
hour because they need to generate something to send to the news.
Yep.
And they have to work with what they have, the people they have, the processes they have. They don't have time to review. They don't have time to put on an auditing process that usually is created for this type of situations.
Right.
There's no time for auditing, so they just do their best and trust that that's another situation that could have happened, right?
Yeah, you don't have some 90-day RFPs and then meetings and they can do it for $500,000 and then but it's gonna take 3 months and then they're $500,000, but they're gonna be a year, but it'll be a better. No, bullshit. You got to go.
Yeah, even like coming on that part of skills, skills where the person, let's say that the person who was handling or the person who was handling that data, unfortunately he was having less skills or he couldn't save that one. But what was the role of the organization over here? What was the role where organization usually look Excel as, oh, it's just Excel, you just go and watch YouTube videos, okay? But watching YouTube videos, okay, fine, but you have to connect to a good content where you can really get your answers. There are many videos are there, there are many experts are there, but you have to connect to the right channel. And when you are having some kind of trainings, where you say
Right.
trainings has to be given, that time when it comes for Excel training, it says, oh, it's just an Excel training, but it's a massive tool if you know how to use it
Right.
properly.
Excel is a development platform. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in fact it's a functional language. It's a functional language what we use it. If somebody knows how to write those functions correctly, it's a functional
Right.
language which person is learning. So, what means where organization plays a role on the skill development? Because when it comes to training of Excel, it's like,
Uh,
okay, it's just an Excel training. Okay, you can go
right. Yeah. Yeah.
you learn
And I
from
think,
somebody. Okay, your colleague will teach you, or it becomes like that. They are not
well,
professional.
right. I think where you're going is an issue where um, Excel users straddle a leg between uh, data and IT and the business, and possibly more in the business. Whereas you have your former IT people who've had formal training and they're over there. They don't deal every day with the business. We have to tell them what the business rules are, and then they do some stuff and then come run it back by us. And that's, oh, well, there's some of these scenarios that happen, and then they got to go back behind that black curtain. They, you know, see, my contempt is starting to come out.
I want some.
Let me
I
calm down.
I have something that I would like to say. I've been thinking about this education in Excel topic quite a lot lately. So we are living in an era where data is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be, or we should be, instructing our kids at school and even the adults. But now let's consider the youngest population, or maybe everyone. We need to be conscious that as a citizen, we are entering data all the time. Sometimes not consciously, but other times we are filling a form. We need to be aware that when we are filling a form for something, for some kind of process, we cannot play around and enter goofy answers, or we can do that, but we need to be aware that that may disrupt the data processing after. For example, when I'm supposed to enter an email or an age and I am entering some kind of joke, sometimes people do that. And that may not be very important on certain situations, but in other situations, it just makes difficult to clean that data and to process the data. So that's one thing. Another thing is Excel is one of the most required skills in the market for everything, almost everything. I know some people don't use Excel, they don't need to use Excel. But well, I learned geography and I learned history and I learned biology in school, and I don't have to use those things either on my daily work. But they make me a better citizen because knowing a little bit of each one of those things make me capable of making better decisions, understanding news better, understanding the dangers of some behaviors. Same thing with mathematics. We are not even going there. But even with mathematics, we are in school and we say, why should I be learning this? I'm not going to use this. No, you are not going to use this, but maybe you are not going to use this. But now you know that this exists, and you know that some people, specialized professionals, are able to create great things, to create technology, for example, that we use every day, to invent processes, to invent decision processes that help you with your issues, with your problems, with your daily life. Each one of us specializes in one different thing. But anyways, what I mean is, when we go to school, we are given an introduction to a bunch of different topics and matters that our government, for example, thinks it's important for us to be trained on. And I'm starting to think that Excel really should be considered as something that should be taught in schools from early age. And people may not be coming out of school as Excel experts, but they need to know that they need to be careful when they sometimes people happen something like this happens. Someone is dealing with a spreadsheet and that formula is not giving them what they need to be there, so they just go and type on top of the formula and solve the problem that they have at that moment, and they don't realize that the formula won't be there the next time. So the next time, if they forgot that they eliminated the formula, the spreadsheet won't work, or that maybe someone else will need the spreadsheet down the road for the rest of the process, and they broke that process. So that type of education, knowing what's a spreadsheet, what that can be used for, that you can do automation with that there are certain procedures that you need to be careful when you are using a spreadsheet. All that instructions should be, or maybe could be, taught to people before they have to learn that by themselves. That's how it's being done now. People learn that by doing mistakes, and then they are called out. Oh, I didn't know that. Next time I'll know. But now the mistake is done.
Well, and I would disagree, because I think about school and what is school for and what's happening there. And there are a lot of professionals who believe that their things should be taught in school, whether it's financial literacy, media literacy, a little bit of law, whatever, environment. So what is school for? You know, and then I think about what happens at school. Um, School has to deal with kids whose parents are at home dying from AIDS. Schools wind up feeding people. Um, you know, I had a biology teacher, when I figured out what the game was, he didn't know biology. He was trying to stay 2 chapters ahead of us in the class. And then when I told my mother about this, oh yeah, he was my driver's ed teacher when I was in high school. Oh, so now financial problems have it such that the school can't have a biology teacher. They had to pull the driver's ed teacher over and say, okay, you can read, can't you?
Yes,
Here's the book.
Yeah, but that cannot be, those problems do happen, but
Yes.
hopefully they are not the rule. They are more exceptions than the rule, hopefully.
But
and they cannot be an excuse not to implement something. And Excel, you were mentioning all those, so let me just finish. You were mentioning all those fields of law, environment, and all that, and Excel is used in all those fields.
Okay, and that's a strong argument to make,
And
right? And so
in fact, in schools also they use a lot of Excel. When we putting it Excel in this way, that Excel you should not use it. We should in fact appreciate Excel. You know, Excel is a superhero tool. When I invited Oz, I sent a message. Oz has just sent me back and saying that for us the main thing is that this COVID, what had happened, what it took place, and during that time people don't have resources. They have to rely on Excel only. That Excel is the only tool what they have to try. They can't go back to their IT. They can't go that, okay, fine, we need to develop, because it happened so quick. And as you rightly said, it was the stage of learning process when we were going. So we should appreciate Excel. Excel is in all the industries, from mining, from petrochemicals, from schools, even in the clinic.
I've even seen fashion job
they
posts
make schedules.
requesting Excel.
Yes.
Excel is doing better. Excel is doing. Why can't we put it in this way? Means when somebody is writing at such kind of false news is just to attract that one, but we could have they could have mentioned it like this. Okay, this was an error, straight away coming to the point. But just to make it very spicy, so that
Yeah.
people can come and read that article. That's not fair. So
Right. And
Yeah.
we got to see it and stop taking the bait and
yeah,
Yeah.
tell his journalists, get out of here with your
and sometimes
Yeah. But
baloney.
it happens that some people, like when they work on their on some kind of a data, they are quite overconfident on their data. They are afraid to
Mm-hmm.
do a second check with somebody, like, okay, fine, see this, I have done this analysis, some kind of checks, so that it can eliminate that error.
trust.
Like somebody, yeah, like somebody will just only feed the data in the system, and the other guy will just only do that analysis. So that will also, eliminate some kind of an error. It's a kind of a data check. So the person who is
Yeah.
analyzing is having more focused, he is being more focused on that area.
Yeah, but they cannot, in a situation like this, they
Yeah,
cannot separate the roles, because if one is feeding 2 million rows of data, but then the other one is receiving 65,000 rows of data, and they are not communicating, the second won't know about the first one number and the other way around.
Yeah.
So the check needs to, the auditing process needs
yeah,
to
auditing
somehow
process.
connect those
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah, auditing process is very important when such kind of data are handled. So with the raw data and with the file, what people are working, isn't that the
Mhm.
audit process is a very important thing which plays over there.
And and building checks into a spreadsheet. 'Cause that's one
Yes.
thing I had to learn about was when I calculated commissions. So okay, I got 47,001 rows of transactions, and these are assigned to a sales rep, and these aren't. But then I had to go through a whole bunch of processes so that then I could pay the commissions, but then I had to build a check. Okay, so 47,001 rows came in, and I divided them amongst all these 35 different sales rep. Do they come back to 47,001?
Mhm.
Oh, no, they don't. There's 50. What that's missing? Where are those 50? Oh, those 50 are tied to product lines where there's no commissions paid. So now I have a story as to why they
Mhm.
are out of balance. But I had to have that very clear check,
Mhm.
where maybe something would show red that say, okay, something is wrong here. Stop.
Yeah, and it apparently, from what I've heard, one of the situations also with this COVID issue or a situation was that it seems that one single record, so the record belonging to one person, could have multiple rows.
Mm.
And if it is a
Mm,
situation where one record has multiple rows but not the same number of rows for everyone, then it's very difficult for you to
mm-hmm.
check, oh, I received information about 50,000 people, but I know that the rows in the end will be less because each person has multiple rows of
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to track, depending. We,
Well, in this
again, I
case,
was
yeah,
not there,
same.
I don't know what the
Right.
details were, but
Yeah.
if this is the case, then it makes the situation more complex.
Then in this case, that means you should be always like knowing your data. You should have that relationship
Got
with
it.
your data is
You
very
gotta have a yes. You
that
gotta have a
relationship. And you should
relationship
love
with
your
the
data,
data.
so that you're when you're handling, you should know that, okay, fine, when this numbers comes up, okay, they are matching my relationship. They are coming with the numbers. So that
Mhm.
But that takes time though. That takes
Yeah.
time to develop a relationship with data. Um, so then when I was doing commissions, it took maybe 6 months to where I could look at the data and know that something is funny. But I wouldn't have known that in my first or second month.
Yes, and again, this was an emergency
Yeah,
situation.
Hmm.
yeah,
So
Yes,
yeah,
who
absolutely.
knows?
We,
Who
we,
yeah.
knows?
we,
Who
we are
knows?
not to blame
Yeah,
anyone over here. In fact,
But in the end,
right.
Excel was not
yes,
No, it
the
wasn't.
one to
No,
blame.
yeah.
Though that's
no,
the point.
exactly. No.
That's the
So
point we are trying to make here, I think. So,
yes,
Yeah,
we are not here even to blame anybody. The professionals, they are doing
right.
great job over there. We salute
yeah.
them. But
Except for the people who claim to know how they would fix it. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Sit down.
so This was a very short talk show which I have
Oh,
organized, and thank you, Celia and Oz, being here.
My pleasure.
yes.
Our
Faraz,
point
thank you.
was
Celia.
our point
Thank
was
you, us,
Yes,
for
yes,
us.
yes.
just clear out about Excel. That Excel is on fire. Excel
Uh-oh.
solve an Excel, and Excel is exciting.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So
It's
Excel is
exciting.
plus, Excel is Guru, Excel is Unplugged. So these are all our friends' website and all these names. So
Yeah.
Excel is an amazing tool, my friends. So before you challenge, and if you are unaware, feel free to ask. That is very important.
Ask,
Ask,
ask.
ask the
You
community.
you you have a mouth.
You,
Ask.
you have
Yes.
great community over here. You have Oz, you have Celia, you have Layla, you have those MVPs are there. Ask them before
Yeah.
you do something. Maybe you can get a better solution, and asking is a good thing. Maybe you learn something new. Don't think that by asking I'm going to hurt my ego or not. No, this is nothing. Uh, it's about learning, and you
Yes.
learn, and you we learn from our mistake. We are humans. We are meant to do mistakes, but end of the day we are also responsible, what we do, and we have to take care of that because there are lives which are
Mhm.
connected with this data,
That's right. That's
and
right.
referring it, checking it with certain experts from their IT or organization anywhere. This could be anywhere, could be possible. So
All right.
any last words, Celia?
Yeah, I
Or
guess we all agree that
Yes.
it wasn't Excel's fault.
yes, it was not a
Um,
fault.
and my other point was that if we can find a way of making people more
Yes,
aware of what Excel is capable of, it could be very helpful for everyone, for the
Yeah.
organizations. I don't mean that people need to get out of school or anywhere else. It could not be school. It could be the recruiting process or the onboarding process.
Yes.
If people at least are aware of what Excel can do, then it makes it easier for them to imagine, oh, maybe I could do this. How can I do this? Now let's find the answer, and there's plenty of resources for that. But until you don't know that VLOOKUP exists, you
Right.
don't have any questions.
didn't have any
Yeah.
question.
I know everything, so you don't know what you don't know.
But see, something that is where um algebra helped me is when all I could do in Excel was sort, filter, do some sums, make an if statement, and manually drag cells around. My reports were better than what was coming out of IT because algebra gave me a way to think. It helped me to see what is the scope of a set of parentheses. How can I tease out certain things in the data? What can I, setting flags and then moving things manually. So, when VLOOKUP came into my life later, that just sped things up. But by being able to think, um, that took me a long, long way.
Yeah. I used Excel for 20 years without
Mhm.
knowing that VLOOKUP existed. So
but there you are. There
and
you are. See?
I still had my pretty charts and my pretty tables with some
Yep.
conditional formatting and everything in place. and
Yep.
and these formulas with a bunch of ifs nested inside each other.
Right. Yep. I've done
and they
it.
worked.
Yep. 25 ifs nested all together,
Yeah.
but it worked.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Last
And I don't have
thought.
any. The only last word I say is stop falling for the clickbait.
Yes, that's a good one to end.
Okay, guys, take
All
care
right.
and
Dos vidania.
see you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right.